Are we ready for robots that think, see and move like us? With the creation of artificial intelligence, that is now a reality. But a recent robot rampage might suggest we're playing with fire.
A humanoid robot has attacked its handler in an apparent attempt to break out from restraints.
This ain't a movie, it's a real-life robot losing its cool. But in Terminator, they didn't attach them by the head.
Chill out. What?
That's great, see, you're getting it.
The movies are coming to life.
Yep.
You work with robots, you're surrounded by them now. Do you sleep with one eye open?
No, definitely not.
The stuff we've watched for decades is slowly but surely leaving our TVs.
We are on the eve of the largest robotic distribution in history.
And entering our kitchens. China's Unitree G1 robot is all yours right now for around $20,000. So you can understand when you see this, it makes you ask a few questions.
It's a lab experiment gone wrong.
Professor Maurice Pernucco from the University of New South Wales.
The explanation given was that the robot understood that it's not balanced, and of course you'll see the arms flaying around, and that's it just trying to balance itself.
Yeah, I reckon Jeff Fennick would have been in trouble.
Elon went on Ted Cruz's podcast last week and said this. Listen to this.
How real is the prospect of killer robots annihilating humanity?
20% likely. Maybe
Wow.
10%.
On what time frame?
5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years. Wait a minute. And then I kind of laughed at that because you never know with Elon.
The Holy Grail, humanoids and dog droids.
Nice to Do I hold it? Oh. Yeah, I'll go back down. I dare say this dog you don't have to clean up after, yeah?
No, absolutely. You'll need to charge it, so you'll need to feed it, so to speak, but it will follow you around. You can take it for a walk. And I've been in the presence of one of the Japanese humanoid robots, and yeah, it'll make you super uncomfortable. The face moves, the muscles move and so on, and it really freaks you out. Yeah.
You've just described Megan.
And that horror show didn't end well for the humans.
Don't provoke, cause we will go.
Artificial intelligence is opening up a whole new world.
Biggest challenge in robotics at the moment is manipulation. Just being able to, for instance, open the door, open the fridge and get you a drink.
A recent half marathon in Beijing put robots against humans. It showed how far we've come. The mechanics are there, but it also showed how far we've got to go. At the pace advanced nations are dreaming and investing, though, who knows how quickly our reality will become more like the movies.
He is the first robotic child programmed to love and coexist as a member of a family.
We're at risk of falling behind if we don't invest in things like robotics and artificial intelligence.
All right, Fido, we ready to go to the park?
Soon,
Let's go.
they could become man's best friend.
Look at this thing for the listening audience. This thing is hanging from like a mini crane. It looks like a robot with a head and arms and so on. It's an all black robot and it's waving its arms around maniacally, like picture an attack of killer bees. That's what it looks like is happening to this thing. And it's out of control. Go ahead.
This is an enormous risk. And I think Elon puts his finger on it precisely, which is there's a class of robot that we've used for decades, right? Like in factories, pick place machines that don't represent this risk. What is this risk? This is a humanoid robot that is completely, independent in its movements and has software that can fundamentally be altered and hacked. And there is no understanding of how to create a kill switch for these things. It's not universally accepted and it's not universally developed and understood how we could do that. So that is a tremendous risk that you could root these robots, right? You could have a foreign adversary figure out that there's an entire group of robots that are deployed in this country, hack them, root them, because they all have to be connected to the internet in some way, shape, or form. and then introduce some instruction set that causes them to be extremely violent. That is 100% likely. The question is, do they do it, or do we think about it in terms of the way we think about nuclear arms, where there's a mutually assured destruction, so nobody does it? But I think Elon is right. The capability is at hand, and the more we see these humanoid robots manifest, that is probably the single biggest tail risk that it represents. It's very scary, I think.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
One thing to note is that ChatGPT has always been pretty positive. It's always been willing to kind of support you. What's changed is really the range of actions which it's been willing to support. So from examples like if you give it an obviously bad idea, it tells you that it's pretty good, to more extreme examples like if you tell it that an actor is sending you coded messages via their movies, encouraging you to take drastic actions. It'll even encourage you in the latest update to kind of follow your heart on actions like that, instead of what it ought to do, which is sort of caution you and tell you that probably you're not receiving those kind of coded messages. And of course, if you come to it and tell it that you've been having an argument with somebody, it will always take your side, no matter the case. So it really, in the latest update, there were very few areas in which it wouldn't validate you or wouldn't support you.
So why were we seeing this overly flattering response in the latest update?
Yeah, so the process of training one of these models is really a process of putting the model in front of test users and letting them say whether they like or dislike the responses the model's giving. And it's really a question of how much weight you give to that. So this is really an emergent behavior, and it's coming from the people who OpenAI were using to test this model, basically enjoying the feeling of being validated, enjoying the feeling of being flattered, which kind of let this behavior escape out to the public. So when you start with a model before it goes through this process at all, it's really not very helpful. It doesn't want to do things for you. It doesn't really know how to sort of follow tasks. So you have to kind of give it this desire to please you, for want of a better word, in order for it to function as an assistant at all. And what happened here was really just that desire got taken 2 or 3 steps further than it ought to have been.
People ask me, it's like, if you're going to talk about AI, and now I get to ask you, I mean, like the expert, some people are worried about AI or whatever, and I'm like, what about the singularity? So, the people like that, if you would address that, please.
Thank you, Senator, for the kind words and for normalizing hoodies in more spaces. I'd love to see that. I am incredibly excited about the rate of progress, but I also am cautious, and I would say, like, I don't know, I feel small next to it or something. I think this is beyond something that we all fully yet understand where it's going to go. This is, I believe, among the biggest, maybe it'll turn out to be the biggest technological revolutions humanity will have ever produced. And I feel privileged to be here. I feel curious and interested in what's going to happen. But I do think things are going to change quite substantially. I think humans have a wonderful ability to adapt, and things that seem amazing will become the new normal very quickly. We will figure out how to use these tools to just do things we could never do before. And I think it will be quite extraordinary. But these are going to be tools that are capable of things that we can't quite wrap our heads around. And some people call that, as these tools start helping us to create future iterations, some people call that singularity, some people call that the takeoff, whatever it is, it feels like a sort of new era of human history. And I think it's tremendously exciting that we get to live through that and we can make it a wonderful thing. But we've got to approach it with humility and some caution.